Good evening, everybody. How are we doing? Ian's got to jump over to YouTube just for a second. So I'll do the little intro into what we're going to be doing and talking about tonight. So we're back, Hustle Hair Podcast. This is all about trying to let you guys level up and, develop better in the industry. This is why we're bringing you this podcast, and we're bringing you topics that people don't necessarily talk about. We want to sort of go against the mold a little bit with what we're talking about, and we've got three great topics to talk about tonight. So Ian, welcome.
Welcome. Still not working, but you know what I'm like with technical stuff. I'm still learning, which is going to be a good part for the, I think it's the third topic tonight, right? Third topic is going to be
second topic. Yeah.
AI. So that's going to be quite good. So welcome to everybody. This is like a regular thing with me and Paul. It's trying to share as much as we can about inside the industry, behind the scenes, if you like. It's good for stylists, for young assistants, and also for general public. If you want to come jump on and see what's happening behind the scenes in hairdressing salons or across the hairdressing industry, then this is the place for you. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Looking forward to these topics, actually, because
this topic, I'm excited. So we got three topics. The first one is about awards. It's award season at the moment. Everybody's putting their entries in for the awards.
Yeah.
The second topic is going to be the AI in our industry. I think that's something I'm becoming more aware of, and some views and stuff on that. And the other one is about Blonde Life, which is just launched in the UK. And actually, I'm more intrigued about this than anything because I don't know anything about it, really. I've only seen the small bits, even though I work for Joico, and I have seen little bits of it. It wasn't launched to the whole of the European Current team, only to you and a few select others, Paul, right?
It was, yeah. We did the Blonde Life campaign, which was back in November, and then we did another thing in January, I think it was. But it still hasn't launched in the UK yet, or it's not at the distributors yet. It's launched. It launched last week, but
just waiting.
Just waiting. But yeah, I got this from the guys in the Netherlands. They sent it over because I've just come off of a live doing a platinum blonde.
I just watched a live as well on which was unbelievable. It was brilliant. To America. There was it 1,500 people so far. I've seen that, which is brilliant. Really good job. So I should be really proud of that. That was an excellent effort. And I sat there with the kids while we were all eating our tea, watching it. It was really good. So
cool. I love it. Absolutely love all of this sort of like digital industry that's happening to us right now. And I was talking to, I think it was like Wendy, and I was saying, like, I can't believe my geeky side from all them years ago has collided with what I'm doing now, being able to do all of this.
Explain what your geeky side was, Mr. Cable Man.
Cable guy, yeah.
Because you were a cable guy, right?
I was a network engineer,
network engineer. And that's why you think everything's easy when it comes to computers and stuff, and networking cameras to this and lights to that, sound to this. And I find it like alien, but I'm learning.
Yeah, I've got to thank my dad. My dad was just always into computers and everything. And I obviously took a real keen interest unknowingly during it all. But it just rubs off on you, doesn't it?
So, of course, anything. Yeah, my dad had a massive influence on me, but he wasn't a very computer literate person because there were no computers when he was growing up. My mum became like a silver surfer about 15 years ago. She's 84 now, and she's on the computer every day buying something or other. She loves being online, so that's cool. But let's get off to the first topic, which is something I really love to talk about.
Cool. So first topic tonight, guys, is award season, something which is massive right now. And Ian's been in the award season at the highest level. But then we also want to talk about, which takes us into the next topic, is how awards are changing. I want to hear all about it, Ian. What were your experiences?
So this is the time of year that everybody's shooting for their BHAs.
Yeah.
Or like the first round of stuff. So everybody's done their pictures. They've done the castings, they've done storyboarding, and now they're shooting. The photographers are all in town. Models' prices have gone up twofold. So, and now it's all about creating your story on print for those awards. I know the the British Hairdressing Business Awards entries have all just gone in as well.
Mine has.
Yours is in, yeah. So you're
I'm in.
for the digital creator this year, or
It's like social stylist. I just
social
thought,
stylist? Yeah,
if this isn't a year to enter it for what I've done digitally,
yeah.
I just thought, yeah. I mean, I'm really into
No, no,
making videos.
you're definitely primed for it this year, definitely.
Right.
And I think that the other one for me is the Creative Head Awards.
Yeah.
For me, I love the British Heritage Awards, but that's kind of a bit more highbrow.
Yeah.
Where the Creative Head Awards is a bit more sort of fashion focused, and it's really kind of right at the core of the industry, I suppose.
Yeah.
Where the British Hairdressing Awards are a little bit more highbrow. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's difficult because I've entered, like, I don't know, I've entered the British Hairdressers Awards, British Hairdresser of the Year Awards. I think I've entered it about 12 times.
Yep.
I've been shortlisted 4 times
Wow,
into
mate,
finals.
amazing.
Never won it, but shortlisted for. But I kind of I find it very difficult now. I'm sort of torn between entering because it doesn't really put an extra bum on the seat. You know, you don't actually generate a lot of income from it.
No.
It's good if you're climbing the ladder in the industry and you want to be recognised as in your peers and stuff like that. But I think I've got other platforms I can do that on now,
Oh,
personally.
for sure.
And the shoot, you know, I've done various shoots, going from like £6 shoots up to 16 grand shoots.
Yeah.
And I've tried different ways of doing it. I've shot abroad in Poland and worked with the models were cheaper and the venues were cheaper. I had a really successful shoot there with Dan Thomas. I had really good fun with him. And learned a lot on that particular shoot of working collaboratively with other hairdressers who were shooting at the same time. That was really good fun. But I've done the most expensive one I did. It was in London with Andrew O'Toole. That was
Yep.
the 16 grand. It was the most phenomenal shoot I've done, and I think the work. That was in 2013, and the work was like, even now it still gets mentioned. I still see it in press, like 10 years on. It's kind of timeless, the images, and I really enjoy doing those. But it was 16 grand, which was back
Yeah.
then was massive amount of money. But we just did it, you know, and it worked out for us. So that was, you know, I'm proud of every shoot. I've worked with Jack Eames, he's really good. Paul
I
Gill, I've
just,
worked with him. I've worked with I think 4 or 5 covers in total, and I've enjoyed. They've all brought something different and also been new. But what do you
yeah.
think, mate, about spending that type of money on a photographic shoot?
Well, just to touch on where you were talking about being like nominated, never winning. I was always talking. I always talk to my team about, like, when you think about the Brit Awards or like Mobo Awards
Yeah,
and that sort of thing, and you can never really pinpoint a year of a winner, but you can always remember the nominees because there's always the sort of familiar faces and stuff
yeah,
like that that's happening. And that's what I always sort of say. Like, for me, and probably people will be like, oh yeah, like losers always say that. But for me, a nomination, you can run off a nomination for years. Like you were saying, your stuff's still getting like published and everything.
yeah, yeah,
And people don't really remember the winner as such. Like if you said, oh, who was the winner in what, 2017? Like,
yeah,
no idea. It's like, can you remember who was nominated? You're like, well, I could probably say he was nominated, she was
yeah,
nominated,
yeah.
and the
I
nominees.
I never thought of it that way, if I'm honest. I've never thought of it that yeah, you would kind of know, that he'll probably be in amongst it. He'll be, you know, they're the guys who, because they all, it's the same type of guys, you know.
Yeah,
There's but you are right in that. I'd never thought of it that way, if I'm honest. I always think, you know, my friend Lewis Moore always says to me that, oh, Ian Davis, you know, he's always the bridesmaid, he's never the bride, you know, like, and it's it's a running joke between me and Lewis. He reckons I'm the Welsh
yeah,
Errol Douglas.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
'Cause Errol has been shortlisted 21 consecutive times and never won.
yeah.
You know,
Which is
which is like,
crazy.
wow. Yeah,
But again, I mean, you talk about Errol. I mean, that's the thing. It's like it's been a nomination
yeah,
for sort of like the top 5 within the country at that period of
yeah,
time, and for that amount of time, like you're 4 years, like
yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah, I think
For
yeah, my entries went. My last one was 2019. That was
yeah, I
the
remember. I
last
remember watching it. It was in lockdown, and you had to
lockdown.
watch it on telly, didn't you?
Yeah, I had to watch it. Yeah, you had to watch it, which is the most bizarre experience
Yeah,
ever. But it was really good. Really enjoyed it. It was nice to be shortlisted to that particular point.
Yeah,
Um,
but talk about
but
nominations. That's what I always think about. I mean, somebody messaged me earlier about the Colour World Award that I'm a
yeah,
finalist in, and they're saying like, oh, like all this and that about good luck with winning and stuff. It's like for me, it's not about that. It's about having that nomination, and especially for the digital world that we're going into and where I want to go in. Like being top 5 is a great thing that I will run with.
yeah, I think it's right. Yeah, I think no, like you look at it that way. I think that I've only ever experienced. I've done British Hairdressing Business Awards as well. I've been
Yeah,
shortlisted in that 3 times, in different categories: Team of the Year, Salon of the Year, those type of things. And I think there's more value in that to me. I was more disappointed about losing that or not winning those particular things because it was all about my team and salon,
yeah,
and I felt I took those more personally. But when you put work out yourself and you're in with your peers, like in all honesty, I'll go to the gallery in Salon International, and I walk around the gallery, and you're looking at all the other nominees. And
yeah,
normally you think, oh, you get really optimistic. I'm really in with the shout. I love my work. Then you walk and look at the people in your category, and you think, oh, damn it. There's always one that stands out, and you think, damn it, they're going to win. And
yeah,
and that's usually the case. Like I'm really honest with myself. I really think, personally, and you've got to be honest with yourself, and you've got to acknowledge where somebody is. They've just done better this year.
yeah.
Um,
You have to. I
and,
mean,
like the only thing was the one that I keep talking about 2013. I had so many people, like really, really influential people within the industry who'd seen my collection and said, "Oh, you are like nailed on for that.
yeah,
You're going to win it." And I actually thought when I went to the gallery, I thought I had one challenger. I thought, I like those. I think maybe that. I think I've got the edge, but that's my closest rival, I think.
yeah.
And actually, the one that won it was something I would have put in third or fourth place, in my personal opinion.
Well,
They were
it's
nowhere
all
near. They were nowhere near where mine and this other guys. And I was like, what?
yeah,
In that way, I was really disappointed. And actually, that's the only year I was. Even the following day, I was staying in the hotel in the Grosvenor. Actually, I got up the next morning. I was down at breakfast, and so many people came over to me at breakfast and said, "Mate, I have no idea. I thought you were nailed on for that. Cannot believe I didn't win that." And
yeah,
I'd never had that reaction at any other time. And I was disappointed, and it only lasted a day or two. But the other ones, I've always thought, no, I knew I wouldn't win it because this one was better or that one was better.
yeah,
I was just glad to be in the mix.
yeah. But
Um,
it's down to opinion, isn't it? That's all it is. It's
yeah,
somebody else's opinion, and like the influence within that group where they're like, oh, to be honest, I think as an opinion, I think the industry is heading that way, and then it can influence the other people to be like, oh yeah, like that. Maybe that's a little bit too contemporary or whatever.
the funny thing was for me was this actually. This is what the biggest validation was in that award ceremony was that Akin, Akin Kanezi
Yeah,
from a Hob.
hob.
I'd spoken to him probably. I've been on a course with him. I've done other stuff at Hob. I'd met him at various events, and and whenever I saw him, it was always like starting again. He always didn't know who I was or whatever.
Yeah,
When I was shortlisted, it was announced. I was at an event where he was at, and my mate knows him well and said, "Oh, I can come look at these pictures." I had him on my phone, and I showed him my pictures, and he was like, "Well, you did these?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I judged these." I said, "Oh yeah, I knew you were one of the judges." He said, "Look," he said, "let's tell you, but this is what I'm trying to achieve with my work. This is where the direction I'm going in, and
wow.
I love it." He said, "What you've done, I just totally like. For me, this is like the best collection I've seen. It should be up for British, not just for regional." And I
Yeah,
was like, "Oh, I was blown away." And then he was the guy. The following day, when I didn't win, I was walking through Mayfair, and a car pulled up alongside me in the middle of Mayfair, stopped beside the car, and it was him in his car. Stopped his car, got out, and he looked at me and he said, "I just don't know what happened. Just don't know
yeah,
what happened." And the funny thing is now, every time I see him, he knows who I am.
yeah,
And before that, even though I'd met him a dozen times or more before, he didn't have a clue who I was. On the brink of that, he actually now remembers who I am. So I'm more flattered by that because he remembers who I am now, knows me. Oh, I hear now you.
yeah.
You know, that's kind of that just put me in a different level, if you like. And I think like I think we all need a bit of validation now and again, and just to, that he's a hair hero of mine anyway. I think his
Yeah.
work is exemplary. I think it's unbelievable, and he's always pushing the boundaries, always out there doing his thing. And so, to him to recognize who you are and realize you can produce a quality piece of work, that was probably the biggest thing for me, I think, looking
Yeah.
at that. But I've been awarded, I've been up for loads of stuff, like multiple awards in the past, never won anything, but it been in with a great company. And
Yeah.
I think that's a part of it. But the value, I think, is whatever value you put on it. And I try not to ever to put too much value on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
So, but you've got two big ones coming up. I seriously think you're in with a big shout to the one.
Well, who knows?
Who knows? But I think, like, so anybody who's got any questions on them and about entering, anybody else out there who's entered awards, that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
And which awards do you deem to be the biggest? Like,
Yeah.
is it British Hairdressers Awards? Is it British Hairdressing Business Awards? Is it the Creative Head? Which kind of awards do you recognise as the ones that are the biggest awards? Do you have a preference for?
The most fun is Creative Head. I
Yeah,
think that's
did we go together? Did we move together to Creative Head a couple of years ago?
no, but after this live, stay on because I want to tell you something. I want to,
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
But no, we haven't. I would like to. I think we should.
Yeah,
Like a bit of a blast and that sort of thing.
it's the best. Yeah,
Colour World. I mean, I've never entered Colour World competition. I never even thought about it. But because the colour communicator category, I've seen it with about 9 hours to go to deadline.
like just the night before, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I just thought, right, let's just make a video. This what I do now. Make videos.
Yeah.
So I made a video, and I think it was one of my funnest videos I've ever made.
It was really cool.
I really enjoyed making it.
Yeah.
And then I've entered as well British Hairdressing Business Awards as well with a video. So that and a load of writing as well. But
yeah,
had to do a video, and that's another thing. Another really sort of video I really enjoyed making. 90 seconds to sell yourself. And for what
it's the elevator pitch, isn't it?
Yeah,
they call it the elevator pitch. You have to do it like in 90 seconds. Sell yourself 90 seconds.
Yeah, and I loved it.
So do you think that again, the value? Where do you see the value in it then? If you say you did win, how would you? I mean, you've already got clients coming from all over the place. I think you've had in the last few weeks like 5 or 6 people coming up from London, just like a 2-hour drive, right?
Yeah, Stoke, Sheffield, Huddersfield. I had a lady last week from Epping.
Yeah,
she drove up 3 hours. It took her. Just basically, she seen my video of how to thin hair, and she's been going to hairdressers who have been putting layers into her hair, making her triangular, and she wanted basically invisible layers. So we created that, and that was another thing. Like, I just can't believe, because I'm getting a lot of new clients at the minute, and I haven't had new clients for so long because I've just been so booked. But talking about that for a second, I used to start booking for Christmas from March, purely for the fact that I wanted to be that hairdresser that was like booked. Now I don't even talk about sort of bookings. I just look, I'll get you in, but let's just get 1 or 2 in the diary. Because I was limiting myself. I was limiting myself with new clients. So now I don't talk about rebooking, and I'm getting so many more new clients coming through.
Okay.
I mean, I think she had to wait 8 weeks.
Yeah.
But I've got a fly.
So that my thing at the moment is I'm having old clients who I haven't seen for ages come back.
Oh, good.
And that is like a crazy one. Like, and the really funny thing about it is in the last 2 weeks, I've had about 6 people I haven't seen for ages. I haven't seen for like 3-4 years, maybe before lockdown and all that.
Yeah.
And they come back and they're like, "Oh, you have me back?" I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, I'd love to see you, and they like come back really sheepishly. "Oh, well, please don't judge my hair. Please don't judge what I've done." And don't judge, it's just, "Oh, well, this is that all the old excuses come out, which is fine." And I really doesn't matter to me. I don't care where you've been, who you've been doing your hair. It really doesn't matter. It's what can I do for you now, you know?
Yep.
And it's been really nice to reconnect to people I haven't seen for a long time. And it's like, you know, like you thought, oh, they just forgotten about me, or they found somebody different and they just got bored. And but
Yeah.
actually, they were like, oh well, you know, this is the reason why, or this is what happened, or this, you know, lockdown came and it was inconvenient, and driving all this way, because a lot of my clients drive a long way to come to me.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of clients who drive over an hour to get to me. So, and a lot of those people started coming back, you know.
Yep.
So that's been really good. Um, then I had a guy working for me who was quite successful, and he moved away, and a lot of his clients have started to come back to salon as well,
Wow.
which is quite mad.
Good.
Like, you know, they come back for the color, and they come back for because they like what we do really, and they kind of like the way we do it. So that's been really cool. Just getting that back, that back. So I get where you're coming from there, but going back to the awards thing, awards really, I don't think it's ever. It's given me like an elevation within the industry, but
Yeah.
now I'm finding other ways to do that, if you know what I mean. You know,
Well, that.
we work with Joico, we do our own,
Yeah.
we do podcasts, I do my own YouTube. I don't need that validation anymore, I don't think.
No.
It's definitely my ego. It's definitely
Well,
my ego.
that's what I was just going to talk about. It's all about ego, and to be honest, like I've never been about an ego or anything, and with competitions, yeah, um,
Which is amazing because when I met you first, I thought this guy's going to set. He's going to be one of those ego guys. And actually, you're the reverse completely.
yeah, yeah. No, I've never been. Maybe I should have. Maybe I should have been bit more like sold myself and that sort of thing. But
Yeah, yeah,
I've just kept myself like just grinding and just trying to work as
yeah.
hard as I
Real.
can.
I think you keep
Yeah,
yourself real, really, and you know
yeah,
your feet are firmly planted on the ground, no matter
yeah,
what the opportunity, no matter what the praise. Like, you know, you've done a fantastic live tonight to Joico America. Like, it's like
yeah,
the home of the company, and you've done this huge thing. 1,500 people viewing it, and and you come off and say to me, mate, what could I have done better there? I was like,
yeah,
what? I was scratching my head thinking, right, okay, let's see what I could think,
yeah,
up with, you know. And like, I think that tells you, or that tells anybody all they need to know really about where you are, where you're at. You
yeah,
continue striving to get better, and no matter what it is you do, you look for that little extra 1 or 2%. And I think award seasons is all about that. So I think in that, if I did an award, if I did an award now, I would be doing it because I want to extend myself or my creative application.
yeah,
I want to look at it creatively as how I can push myself outside of my boundaries, my normal boundaries. So I
yeah.
would use it as a learning, but because they are so expensive to do, I would find it a very frustrating kind of thing because I want to do those things and work collaboratively with people to push the boundaries. And I know I don't want to spend too much time on this, but the the award thing, if you go back in history, in Paris, they used to have the Salon Awards, so for painters and artists.
Yeah.
And they would every year at Salon they would put their new work out there. You know, it was like a proper art gallery where the artists, you know, of the day, you know, would all display their work. And you had then the impressionists and people come along, and the modernists, something like, you know, your Matisse and Manet and Monet and people like that. They weren't regarded as highbrow enough to be in the main salon, you know.
Yep.
And so they entered work, but their work was never accepted into main salon. But there was another thing called salon de refusé, which was the work that was refused into salon. It went into
Okay.
salon refusé, so people could still view it, but it was in salon refusé, which wasn't as eyebrow as being in the top awards. But what they found was over the years is that the innovators all were in salon de refusé, and so the salon refusé started to have a bigger reputation than normal salon because the new stuff was out over here, and it kind of it was like punk rock compared to classical
Yeah.
music, I suppose. And people say, "Well, I really quite like this punk rock. I want to investigate it more." And then I think the salon then asked. I think it was either Manet or Monet. I think it was Manet. It was like the father of that modernism painting. You know, the postmodern. No, the what the hell this called? think it's modernism. He's the guy who kind of started it all, you know, with his abstract stuff and impressionism. I think he was doing impressionism, and they asked him to enter his stuff into Salon, and he refused. He said no.
Okay, yeah.
He didn't want to, because you pushed me back, pushed all my friends back for so long. I don't want to validate you now by
Yeah.
putting my work forward now that you recognize there's value in the work.
Yeah.
I thought that was crazy. And I think that, you know, I was talking to Bruno about this recently. I really love to see the stuff that didn't make the awards,
In
because there's
something
so
else.
much creativity in that, because now the awards, you know, if I'm being cynical, has become very formulaic. So you have to follow a
Oh,
formula.
yeah.
And so actually, when you go to awards now, there's not a lot between images, and
Nah.
so many are done in post imaging, which I hate.
Yeah.
I hate the images being touched up too much, or we all do a bit, but some of it, you know, they're creating brand new looks out of, you know, they're just changing the whole look of the hair and changing the makeup and changing the model's face and the
Yeah.
makeup. And I don't like that. I think you should have to enter pictures of a raw image compared to your normal, which you do have to enter, but unless somebody questions it, you don't get to see the raw image. So I
Yeah.
think, you know, and nobody really wants that, because you're not going to ask for it, because if your stuff is, you're doing the same thing, why would you ask for it?
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I
So
do.
I just think that that's the only thing with BHA now, in my personal opinion. I don't think it's any longer a hair awards. I think it's now almost a photographic award.
Well, yeah, I mean, from hearing things as well, you hear a lot of the photographers, they're directing most of it and saying what they
Yeah,
want from it because it's their reputation
yeah,
for getting awards being shot the following year.
yeah,
So when it comes down to it, the hairdresser is doing the hair, but the photographer is basically
yeah. Well,
creating something.
there was one photographer was banned for a year, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Recently, you know, because there was a conflict of interest, and there was all sorts going on, and you know, and I just think that's wrong, you know, and on every level. And a
yeah,
great photographer, I mean, phenomenal photographer, but
yeah,
just getting it so wrong because they want to have such a big reputation, you know, and they
yeah,
want to, like you said, this becomes all about them again. The ego it takes over, doesn't it?
yeah.
So I
Yeah,
don't
I think
understand.
we could talk about this topic all night, but
Right.
I think it's something maybe we could revisit.
Okay.
But
So,
yeah, I mean, with these videos, with this podcast, what we're going to do is we do 3 topics every week, and we're going to chop them up into individual videos. So if you want to see this again, it will be on both of our channels as an individual video. But let me just get rid of award season, because the next one is quite a big thing that's happening now, and I reposted a quote the other day. Let's just bring it up. So next topic is AI in the industry, and I shared a post. It was like someone's tweet, and they basically said, um, "Is AI? Are you going to be redundant because of AI?" And it was about all these different industries that are being affected by how AI is coming on, how robots are taking over. Because did you hear in Texas, the first McDonald's, like manless
no
McDonald's,
way.
has launched in Texas? There's nobody in there apart from robots.
Are you shitting me?
No, so you order, goes out in the back, the kitchen, does it all, like does it all itself, and then it comes through to you ready. Um, so
I don't know whether I like that or not.
well, no. I mean, I don't like that, but what this thing is, I don't think our industry is going to be taken over by AI. I can't see people trusting that they put their head in something and something is created. I think, do you know what I mean? I think the personal touch, the relationship that we have with a hairdresser is definitely AI retardant, I
Yes.
suppose.
Yeah. Resistant. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I think you've got a point. I think I mean, I do use AI for my YouTube, as you know. Like I use
yeah,
ChatGPT to write stuff, or if I'm struggling with something, I'll ask ChatGPT, and it'll give me a new idea. You know, or
yeah,
I think you'll be careful what it does for you, and I think you've got to still have an input and
yeah,
not just rely on that just to write it all out for you. I still want to rewrite, you know, change bits, but I get a lot of inspiration from it. If I want to know a certain topic, I'll ask ChatGPT, and it'll give me more of the information than in a way that I like to read it rather than Google.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So I like that. Do you use it at all?
Oh, mate, every day. I'm on
Do you?
ChatGPT every single day because I am asking it. It can't predict trends because it's a few years behind. But
Your
what
2021 was this most up to date thing, but it's learning all the time now, isn't it?
well, it is, and it's funny. Like I was writing my bio. What was I writing for? I asked it to write a bio on Paul Watts, the hairdresser educator, does YouTube, um, and stuff like that. And it basically just wrote me a whole description about me.
I haven't tried that yet.
No,
No, that sounds really good. So the thing is, as well, that, did I introduce you to that?
nah. We both spoke about it on the same day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was flying somewhere, and I was at the
That's right.
airport, and we were
That's right.
talking,
Yeah,
and you said, "Oh, Lisa's using something similar to that," and I was like,
yeah.
"Mate, it is unreal."
Because have you signed up to the new Google Bard? Have you already?
Yeah,
I think yeah. No, you sent me the link for that. I'm signed up and waiting for it as well now.
yeah. We
'Cause
were in the taxi when we did that.
yeah, you've got a Google phone as well, haven't you?
Yeah,
So I've got iPhone, so I didn't get the notification, but you've got it. But I've sneaked on the back of yours on
yeah.
your link. That's been good. But yeah, so again, I don't think there are actually robot things that do certain things, some certain hair things now, treatments and shampooing and
There are.
those type of things. And I think they're really good
Yeah.
in a kind of that type of salon environment. But somebody's got to be there to check on it.
Well,
And I
yeah. I
think
mean, the,
you and humans like contact, don't they? Like with one another. Most people like to have contact with another human being.
yeah.
So and I think it's what I think one of the things that we learned in lockdown, and one of the things we missed most was contact with other humans, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And there was a lot of mental health issues around that.
In particular, hairdressers.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, when we said we were going to open again, I mean, the phones were just red hot, weren't they?
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to get in. They all wanted to be the first. They all wanted to be, and that wasn't just because their hair was bad, but they were craving to sit down and have time to be with another human being.
Yeah.
I think that was the kind of key. That's what was happening then. I think, and I really believe that was something that people really missed out on was the human contact thing. So I think in our industry, I do think a certain amount of AI will come in. I think there are a lot of things will be digitized.
I
I
mean,
think,
we have already. If you look
yeah,
at it, I mean, we've had two robots working on our colours and hair setting for a number of years now, climber zones and hood
yeah,
dryers. Um, but then we've now got online booking systems, which is it. We've got automated text, automated emails.
yeah.
I just can't see it transferring into
Uh,
like the whole McDonald's thing. I can't see.
I get it, but what I think what will happen, I think, is AI will come in as far as analytics is concerned, and I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
it will take a section of somebody's hair, analyze it, it'll give you feedback right away for how
yeah,
it should be treated, whether it should be, what volume of peroxide, or whether you're permanent, how long perm, what to strength solution, or
yeah,
what conditions in, what's the best product for that you have available. I think
yeah.
some brand is going to come out with something like that.
Well, I mean, Schwarzkopf have got something similar, haven't they? But it's for scalp.
All right, okay, I didn't know that.
So it's like a little. So it looks a little bit like this sort of thing,
Like
and
a
you put it
pen.
into the hair,
Yeah.
and then it looks at the scalp health. Um, so there's stuff like that anyway. But what you just said there, I think it'd be amazing for the
Yeah, I
standard.
think it'd be that's an addition, isn't it, to us?
Yeah,
It's
for
an
the standard
extra
of
tool
hairdressing.
to be more specific. We can be much more what's it prescribing then, can't we? And also because it's done in such an analytical, scientific way,
Yeah.
and the information clients would have a lot more trust in what we were saying
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
because it becomes more prescriptive. So I do
Well,
think
yeah.
there's a value and I do think that will come within the next 5 or 10 years. That will come. An
Yeah.
analytics for hair where people can prescribe, a brand will come up with something. If this your hair clients this got this and the porosity is this, then this is the product you need to use today. This is the treatment, or this is the home care, or this is what you can do with color, but you can't do with color, you know,
Yeah.
and those type of things. And then and also the coloring to looking at the color pigment content to know what's left, the remaining content, to say, okay, what result do you want? We'll do the calculation for you. I really believe that will come.
I mean, we're already doing that as a colorist, but yeah, I mean, we can tell the underlying pigment and everything that's left in the hair. But I know what you mean from a scientific like spot on. That if we take a
Yeah,
bit of hair and where people at the minute say dentistry, you go to a dentist and they'll send stuff off to a lab to get developed, and then they'll put it
yeah,
into
yeah,
practice. I think stuff like that will happen, but I think talking like what you were just saying, that's something that I'm obsessed about is underlying pigments, and this was the color communicator thing.
yeah,
How I become obsessed about that whole aspect of hair health and everything. I think what it will do is it will raise the level of the industry. That's what I think will happen.
yeah. My brother-in-law, my sister-in-law are both dentists,
Yeah,
and they both high-end dentists. They do a lot of like cosmetics stuff. And my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law, they posted stuff online recently where there's somebody guy had a missed tooth, like a whole section of teeth missing.
yeah,
And they replaced it with no like they call them like screwing teeth, like implants.
yeah,
And the implants were exactly the same shade as their own teeth.
yeah,
They weren't these white veneers, like all white. It actually matched up, and they were like, I was looking at them thinking, that's just perfect. It looks like the original teeth
yeah,
because it matched the color and like the shape wasn't quite perfect, and so they didn't just like shape one side of their mouth and the sides look unshaped. They made it so that it kind of looked completely natural and the color. And I think that was all done through AI and technology, and from taking 3D images and colors and all those type of things. And I
yeah.
think we'll get a version of that in the not too distant future. I think.
But that's the same as me. Them,
Yeah.
I knocked them out in football.
Seriously,
Yeah, they're not mine.
aren't they?
Uh-uh. Yeah,
And they gave you them. My God.
I know.
Yeah. So yeah.
But
So
I
I
know
think
what you mean. They
yeah.
don't look fake.
No.
They're like a little bit irregular and that sort of thing. The color matches. I
Yeah.
think I've got two
I
like
didn't know. Like I've known you for a few years, and I didn't know that.
no.
That's bonkers.
Yeah. So I had that done when I was like 13, 14.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I would
But
never
yeah,
told that. Never seen that. But the
no,
AI, I think, and I do think AI in the industry is going to become valuable, but I don't think it's going to take over somebody's job. I think it's going to add another string to your bow. It
definitely. I
could
think
look
that
how
the
I'm more
standard of
strong.
hairdressing will improve because of it, and that's only a good thing. So
What does everybody else think on Facebook land and on YouTube land? Anybody commenting on that?
no, but once this video has gone live, you can always comment again. So we'd love to see the comments afterwards as well. Just have
Yeah,
a little bit of a discussion. If you're not even a hairdresser, if you're watching as a client or something, do you think AI will take over your sort of industry? Because I really, and I don't want to put them out of a job, but I think the next industry that has to be very worried about AI is tattooing.
yeah,
I just
yeah,
think
yeah,
the way that things can draw, like 3D printing and all this sort of thing, I think we do like people doing it and we like their own artistic flair, but a lot of people do just take a picture and say, look, I want that. And I think if you could input a picture into a machine, you put your arm in there and it gives you that. I I've been saying that for years. I thought robots would take the tattoo industry away, or at least they'd take like 70% of it. There'd still be like 30% of these unreal freehand artists that just do it. But for the everyday person that goes to like Skegness and has a tattoo, I think AI will definitely do something in that industry.
yeah. I think you're probably right. Actually, I think that is that. Yeah, I think that is. I think I still think you need somebody to program it and put it right and put it in the spot that it needs to be, and they can test it. But I think
I don't know. I just think you got a picture, you've got a scanner, you scan it, put your arm in, it'll have these things that close your arm's in there, and it just does it.
possibly
I mean, I'm not saying it will, but I'm saying it seems like a very simple thing
maybe
to be
just
able to.
brand new.
Yeah, yeah, just branding, yeah. But yeah, no, I'm not saying tattooing is easy. Like I can't draw, and I can't imagine drawing on skin with a needle.
No,
But what I'm saying is that making something there still and a robot coming in and doing it at hyper speed
Yeah.
would
Would it feel worse at hyperspeed though? So, you know, because the tattoo artists are all about kind of like, it's a bit like us really, isn't it? When you kind of blend in and kind of doing those type of things, you know, they take pride in that. I mean, I
they
wonder.
do, yeah. And I'm not trying to belittle what they do at all. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that if somebody wants a gingerbread man on their arm, a machine will be able to do that.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah, I
But
get it.
yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah, definitely. With, you know, but I don't know. They'll have to find other technologies to actually do it rather than needles or multiple needles at the same time. Maybe. Imagine the pain though. Pain
Oh,
would be.
I know. And also like the depth of the needle and stuff. It'd
Yeah.
have to have loads of sensors on it to
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
judge skin and everything. Yeah, but it could just be a needle going in. And
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't use it. I'd still go to a tattooist, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, that topic is a massive topic that I'd love to revisit again in like a year's time or something.
Just see where we are with it. Yeah,
see
yeah.
where we are.
Yeah.
But yeah, next topic is something I've just done. All of this color just here is our new Blonde Life range. So yeah, the next topic for this podcast is Joico's Blonde Life. Just launched in the UK this week. It's been launched in America and all over America, and it's just
North
coming
America. North America. Yeah. So tell
Canada.
me, it's quite a. Right, I'll tell you what I understand, and you can explain to me more. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the new blonding part of Joico, right?
Yep.
Brand new. It's a very compact range, right? So tell us what's in the range first of all.
So you've got your demi-liquid colours, you've got your quick tones, you've got your peroxides, and you've got 3 bleaches: balayage clay, cream lightener, and a Blonde Life powder.
Okay. So tell us the difference between the demi and the liquid.
What?
You said about the liquid. Tell us. So we've got the liquids, right?
Demi-liquids and the quick toners.
And the quick toners. Tell us the difference between demi-liquids and the toners.
Yeah. So difference is quick toners are quick and they're a cream. There's only 3 shades, so there's 4, but there's 3. There's sand, silver, violet, and then there's clear to make them brighter, give you a little bit more time when applying.
Yeah.
And then the demi liquids aren't as quick. You can develop up to 20 minutes. 5-volt again. You've got clear. You've got 8N, 10N, 9SB, 10SB, 9V, 10V.
Okay. And when would you? What would be the difference? What would you say? Okay, I'm going to use a quick toner as compared to the demi liquids. Is it all to do with the condition, or is it to do with the color selection you've got available to you?
I think it's more to do with speed, if I'm honest. I mean, the quick tone it's I say it's limited. You can create so many colors with it. But
can you mix them? Can you mix the quick toners together?
You can mix quick toners together, yeah. So like mixing sand, silver, and violet is lovely. It's basically sand. You've got to look at a sort of like a slight N with an NWB, I suppose.
So natural warm brown, about blonde, beige.
And then you've got the violet, which is violet, and you've got the silver, which is obviously blue based.
Yeah.
So you can tone, tone yellow, tone sort of oranges.
So why would you mix the 3 of them there? Then you got a beige, you got a blue tone, and you got would they cancel each other out or not?
No, it's customization, formulation. It's being able to really achieve a certain look. The silver is very silver. If you were to leave that on, the violet can go purple. You've got the clear in there to just give it a bit of a lift, so you don't get as much deposit. But I always find the sand in there just takes off. It's like putting a little bit of base in, I suppose, working with the sand.
Okay. Yeah. I think most beiges have that quality, don't they?
Yeah, like background color to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so and how long would you leave a quick toner on for? And do you apply it wet or dry?
Well, interesting fact I found when we were over in Holland last. So quick tones are formulated to drop to a level 8, and that's it. So when people think that quick tones just leave it on and they'll go darker and darker and darker, yes, porosity is a conversation to have, but they're formulated to drop down to a level 8, which I think is great. I think like level 8 is still a blonde, quite a light blonde.
Yeah.
So I left the quick tone on for, I think it was like 4 weeks on a
Yeah,
mannequin
I
down
remember
here.
that. Yeah, I remember you did it just to see what it would do, right?
Yeah, rinsed it, and it was just a beautiful blonde.
Oh, I know. I'm getting confused with the
Lumi 10.
Lumi 10. You did Lumi 10 and Lumi 10, right?
Yeah, left Lumi 10 on for I think it was like 4 months.
Yeah, to
Obviously,
see what happened.
obviously
Yeah.
it stopped and it slowed down and everything like that, but it didn't go black. It
No.
it, it dropped to, I suppose, a level 6, and I wanted a level 7.
Yeah. There was just one shade darker, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember you doing that. Then so the demi liquids then
Yep.
they they are more kind of applied through. Say, sorry, go back to quick tones. Applied wet or dry?
Both.
Both. Okay.
Both.
And
I,
same
I,
with the demi.
I would say quick toners though. If you're doing just a panel, or you're doing a root, sort of like wanting to drop the root as a bit of a
Yeah.
root shadow, you could do it dry. But I would say predominantly just put them on wet or towel dry, because you've just got a bit more time to.
So because it's because it's formulated to go down to a base 8, you'd use that for like a root shadow then, would you? And then you'd use a different tone on the ends?
No, so one of the biggest things that I do with the quick tones is I put a quick tone all over, and then every 5 minutes I'll rinse. Say 5 minutes has passed, I'll take off the ends, and then another 5 minutes gone, I'll take off the mids. Another
Yeah.
5 minutes has gone, I'll take off like the root. So
Right.
you've got like a natural transition of color
Yeah.
through.
So it's the same toner being left at different times to give you different results.
Yeah. So after 15
That's
minutes,
really good. I love that idea.
yeah, after 15 minutes, you could probably say it's going to drop down to what, an 8.5, 8 maybe, depending on porosity,
Yeah.
but maybe a 9. It would just sit that little bit sort of shadow on the root, and you've
Yeah.
got those ends which are toned to where you want to be.
Nice. Like that.
Hmm.
Okay. And what about the quick tone, the demi liquids? You put those on dry or wet or both?
Again, you can do both. If you're used to Lumishine liquids, as in the 10V, 10SB, 9V, and all
Yeah.
that, they've got the Blonde Life have got a lot more pigment to them, so
Right.
they've got a lot more counteracts ability, like a lot more neutralizing properties that that you can do. So, St. Mark, is the chat working?
Yes.
The
I hope
chat is
so.
working.
That is working. Yeah, but everybody seems quiet tonight.
Yeah, we've got some can't post comments to some destinations, so there's something tonight with the comments, but it's
I said
no
that.
problem.
I said that on your live, didn't I?
Yeah,
Tonight. I don't know that, but that was that. We sussed that out why that was, but I don't know why this one is. But
yeah,
the chat is working.
but
So okay. So then we've got the 3 lighteners.
yeah,
We've got the cream, the clay, and the
powder.
powder. What did you use? Oh, you used the clay tonight, didn't you? On
I
your
used it on my mannequin. Yeah, use the clay.
yeah. And so we've had a clay before. How does this differ?
I suppose it's got a bit more power to it. I think
Yes, it lifts. How far does it lift? Lift to level what?
I think it's 7 levels of lift. It is just there. Yeah, 7 plus levels of lift
7 plus. Okay, okay.
with a clay lightener. Yeah, I used 5 volt tonight. I only wanted to
Really?
lift. Yeah, I used 5 volt. I wanted just to lift it small amounts. I was working on level 9, but I wanted to
Right.
lift
Okay.
it small amounts.
Okay.
We've used it with 40 volt.
So that
And
mannequin head you did tonight on the live. Sorry, it's not there for people to see. I know it's in the background. I can see it. But did you pre-lighten all of that mannequin before you used the? So that's the color the mannequin came in then, like a base, an 8 or 9, was it?
comes in at a level 9, really, really
Yeah.
hot yellow. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a really yellowy color, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And the color afterwards looked fantastic, to be fair.
Mm.
But so you only used like the you put the 8 foils in, right, on that?
8 foils with 8N and 9SB.
Okay, and then you like thick to thin, thick to thin. I remember that. And then
Yeah.
and then
Thick to fat.
thick to
No,
fat,
thin to fat. Yeah.
thin to fat. And then your hand. I think it was about 6 or 8 sections in between. You did the balayage type of freehand.
Yeah, it's 8 sections. It's
8
basically a hot
sections.
cross bun section, quadrant, and then you put your 8 foils in to make 8 more sections,
Yeah,
and then you work through them like freehand.
yeah,
And that was
yeah.
freehand 5 volt on a level 9. Didn't want to like damage the hair.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, and then rinsed
Then
out and
rinse
toned.
them off. And what do you tone with?
10SB, 10V, left on for 20
Yeah,
minutes.
they looked sensational, to be honest. And the depth you got from the 8 files, the darker files, will look fantastic. It really, really does. If anybody hasn't seen it, get onto that. I think it's on the Joico Facebook.
Facebook, but it's,
Yeah,
it's on my YouTube channel as well.
the Joico US and your YouTube, Paul
Yeah,
Watts YouTube channel. That is really like cool to
quick,
see.
quick.
Super quick. I mean, you were done in 30 minutes, all done in 30 minutes, which is
Yeah, and
blinding.
I did the intro. I showed the section on the wall,
Yeah,
and then I put the foils in, balayaged, and it was done. Probably 20 minutes, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah. It was pretty cool, and you weren't rushing. It was all done, in just normal time, a normal salon time, I suppose.
Yeah,
What's the most progressive blonde in the UK? Oh, we use all the teas
yeah,
as a toner. So I mean, I think lifting. Well, with my team, we lift as high as we can, and or to what's really healthy, and then we use a lot of teas. Like they mix the 3 teas together,
yeah.
depending on what we want. One could be slightly more, but usually an equal amount, and then put them on, and that is always a fantastic toner.
Vero is Vero color. If no one has ever used Vero color, I suppose it's hard now because you can't get it everywhere. But
No,
Joico Vero color is a color range for colorists who want to create bespoke color. It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
unbelievable.
and not keep browning out.
Not keep browning out. Yeah.
Like that was a revelation to me when I heard that, and and it so rang a bell. I was like, yeah, totally get that. And I've become like a Vero addict now.
Yeah.
Like, and you know me, I'm not like but it's made me really, really think about my colors a lot more. About
Yeah.
what the remaining pigment and how much, how warm, how cool, what I want to do, how to use the color wheel, all those things I've had to revisit,
Yeah.
and I just love it. I really think it's like, for me to say that, how
Yeah.
because the condition and the finish you can get with it is just like sensational. But you got to know it. You got to really fundamentally study it.
You have, and I've spoken to Danielle about this and a few of them. I think the story has to change.
Yeah,
I think the fundamental is something that we really need to understand when covering grey hair. But I think it's sold to people that they need to mix all 3 or 4 colors, whatever it is, to get where they want. Whereas a flat 7N in Vero is completely different to a 7N in any other color. It's a true blue that if you want those really I say flat, you've still got unbelievable shine condition, but if you want that really flat brown,
instead of flat, I think what you're looking for is something that's true to color without the heat in the color, without it popping out hot or becoming glary, isn't it?
yeah, there's none of that. It's a beautiful level, say level 7, that has no warmth in it whatsoever.
Yeah.
And to achieve that, you just can't with any other color brand.
They always come out slightly warm, don't they?
Yeah,
Especially at the root. They always get a bit hot, no matter how you dumb down the peroxide, no matter what you do, they always come out slightly warmer.
yeah,
And this stays bang on.
yeah.
Like it's true to color, isn't it? That's how I love this.
Yeah, as long as you understand. And the story that we're talking about is when you want to cover grey. This was one of your big learns, wasn't it? It was like whatever is in the hair, you put in the bowl.
In the bowl, yeah.
Yeah,
If it's not in the hair, put it in the bowl. Yeah.
yeah. And this is the story about the grey coverage. So with grey hair, there's 0 melanin in the hair. It's a white canvas. So if we want to get a real true brown on there, we can formulate. If we want a cool brown, we put a bit more beige and natural in there, but we still got to have some gold in there because this is all of the colors that are making up the color. And that's the story for me. When I've been introduced to it a few times, people have always told me, oh yeah, but you got to mix that and that. It's like, well, no, not all the time, not unless you're working with grey. It's like, yeah, but it's always warm. It's like, well, what's your mix? It's like equal N, B, and G. It's like, well, just don't put G, like a lot of G in there.
Yeah.
Pull back on the G and then go in with the N and the B and a little bit of G. And then it's like, oh, okay. And then they do it, you hear it, and it's like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. Paul, so the clay used tonight, what's the difference between the clay, the cream, and the powder? When would you use them?
So clay ideally for balayage.
For hand painting, yeah.
Freehand open air. It's got its clays are people are used to clays, but yeah, it's got that sort of hard clay coating to it, so it won't transfer onto something else once it's hardened. You can use it with 40 volt again. You can use it with 20 volt, 5 volt. I've used tonight. Powder is your powder. It's your up to 9+ levels of lift. You can use 5 volt with that, 10, 20, 30, 40. I probably wouldn't use 40 because it is, I probably wouldn't use 30 if I'm honest. It is so powerful.
Yeah.
It's just
You'd
so
rather go low and slow, right?
low and slow.
Like you cook your beef brisket in a barbecue, low and slow, so
Yep.
it all falls apart.
Yep. That is how I'd go with my blonde life. And then the cream is ideally for sort of scalp applications. It's an oil
Okay.
based. It's probably the last one I would reach for, to be honest.
So you would reserve that mainly for scalp applications then?
Yeah, you can foil with it as well. You can balayage with it as well. Like you can do everything with it.
But the question is, why would you?
Why would you when you've got a really good clay and a really
Yeah,
good powder?
yeah,
Why
yeah,
would you?
yeah.
I suppose condition. That's why you would.
Okay, okay.
If you were
But
looking
so if you
after
had
the
really compromised hair that
yeah,
you had to do something with, or you were in two minds about doing,
yeah,
you would take the risk with the cream rather than the powder or the clay, yeah?
yeah, 4-step hair repair system, and then
Yeah.
I'd go in with the clay lightener.
Awesome.
Sorry, cream lightener.
Cream like that.
Yeah,
Awesome. Well, that's answered all my questions. I've got no more questions on that.
yeah. But mate, let's just before we go, let's talk about what we're doing this weekend. So
Oh, yeah.
me and Ian are going to be launching our own online academy. We're going to be bridging gaps. So from college to salon floor, we're bridging that gap first. We're going to be showing you the 3 haircuts, 3 colors, and 3 styling techniques that you guys need to understand when jumping on the salon floor. They'll
Yeah.
be lifesavers.
It's what clients ask for the most.
Yep.
They'll be simple techniques, but don't confuse simple for easy. They're simple, they everyday salon friendly haircuts, and
Yep.
but they're still technical. But once you know them, you've got them. They're in your back pocket. You'll use them forever.
Yep.
And the colors are like the trending colors which we've used over the last 18 months or more, which kind of gives you that speed in the salon, but also like you make a jump when you're on the floor with real clients in real time.
Yeah.
These are the go-to 3 type of haircuts, 3 colors to complement them with, and 3 different ways to style them out as well. So
Yeah.
that's going to be part of the academy initially, making helping, well, college students and apprentices make that leap from apprentice or college student to the salon floor, so they can hit the ground running and actually like start making money for the salon, start making money for themselves, and building clientele really quickly with really fast, effective results.
Yep. And then the next gap we're going to bridge is we're basically going to look at all the bridges that we've worked as salon owners we have in the salon. So from apprentice to salon floor, from graduate stylist to senior stylist, and then from senior stylist to platform artist. They're the gaps that we really want to help you guys understand and just we get a lot of comments asking us, how do you become a platform artist? How do you become an educator? So once we've worked through these tiers, I suppose, right when we get to that top one, while we're doing these haircuts and color techniques and styling to show you, we'll be talking about things that you need to understand as well to take you through to that next level.
And then the funny thing about that, actually, what I will say as opposed to before we end, is that everybody thinks there's these massive jumps to do it, and actually they're really small. You know, like when you get there, like going from like a busy salon artist to a creative artist in a part of a brand or a team, then I always thought the jump would be this massive thing, and actually it was next to nothing. It was just putting myself in the right place at the right time, and then seeing opportunities when they come, and then knowing how to use that opportunities in the best way.
Yeah.
But the jump, like this jump from being an apprentice to a salon stylist, is so minimal, but everybody gets freaked out about it. But actually, it's a really small transition.
Yeah.
And if you get this progress thing and use these small transitions, they can have massive impact. And of course, you do one small transition on top of another, you get this compounding effect where everything grows exponentially and faster than you can imagine.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we want to put everybody and give you the opportunity to do it and not make the mistakes that we've both made along the way. We've done them for you. We want to make it a fast track way. And it's like, it's pretty much foolproof, I'd say, Paul. Would you agree?
Yeah, and affordable.
And affordable. Yeah, super affordable.
That's what we're going to be hitting because we understand courses are expensive. We've seen a lot of online platforms that seem to be very expensive. You get a lot for them, but we want to be hitting. Well, we want to be helping as many people as possible, basically.
Yeah. So the price point is really good. But that takes us on to later on the year. But we have got a VIP course coming, and that's going to be launched at the end of the year, and then into next year. That is a proper VIP event. I'm so excited to this because everything's leading to this, I think. And I do think it's the thing that we've been working on it for like 6 months or more now. And there's so many good things to come in on that. And that isn't us giving you a teaser. We can't really talk about it, but it's like, because we still haven't finished the content really, but the ideas we've had so far, and again, we'll film it on the weekend, part of the content for that. But to build these things takes time, to give you a portfolio that you can dip into whenever you want at the level that's appropriate for yourself. And that's what we want to do is take you on that journey so that you take these incremental steps forward, which take you to the next level of whatever you want to be, wherever you see yourself, and however you feel is success in your eyes. And that's what we want to do. Yeah.
That's it, with a beautiful setting. But we'll explain more very, very shortly.
Yeah, very exciting. So that's another episode 6 done in the
episode 6.
Job done. So I appreciate everybody who's joining us. And again, it's like the support has been overwhelming. Everybody's jumped on, and I think, you know, the views are growing every week. We get more views and more people are joining, and we're just so delighted we can help so many people or just illuminate some of the topics that we talk about. And if there's anything you want to talk about and you feel that is, just drop a comment into the Mindful Hairdresser on YouTube, or on my Facebook, or Paul's Facebook or Instagram, or his YouTube channel. Comment, let us know what you want us to talk about. We'll investigate it and we'll come back to you with the best information we possibly can. But thank you for joining us and supporting us, and we'll see you on pretty much in between 6 and 8 next Monday.
Cool. Right. Oh, and we'll be together.
Yeah, we're together next week.
We're together, yeah.
We're going to be in-house on the same thing. So it might be slightly earlier next week because of travel, darling.
Yeah. But yeah, we could. We'll do it earlier, and
it'd be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Right.
And it's bank holiday, so it'd be cool.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Nice one.
And
thank you, everybody.
We'll see you next week.
Have a good night, mate.